Okay, good morning and good afternoon, actually, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the conference as much as we did. How was Cloud Native Days 2026 so far for you? A bit, a bit more energy? Okay, I get it. You're waiting for the lunch. It's fine. So I'm Andrei, he's my teammate Vladimir, and we are DevOps engineers in Vodafone Intelligent Solutions, or shortly put, Voice. Our mission is to get everyone connected, but that is difficult when the developer experience suffers. And that is why we are part of a platform engineering project in Vodafone which aims to standardize the DevOps practices. And today, we'd like to tell you the story of how we discovered the real benefits of platform engineering, what mistakes we made along the way, and what we learned from them. The focus this time will be the release strategy we adopted in order to bring consistent, stable cloud platform releases to all the partner projects. If you're tired about AI, do not worry, the presentation is strictly platform engineering vibes, so it's fine. And no Jenkins, of course. Why don't you love Jenkins? Jenkins is great. Okay, let's see what are these problems that I started my talk with. So we have the infrastructure in AWS, apps run great, we have happy developer teams, we have happy DevOps teams, everything is great, right? Well, oh, cool. Not really. So multiple projects, multiple initiatives, apps, each app with its own infra stack, strategies, procedures. So in one word, redundancy. So that's not really DevOps, right? There is a solution. And the solution that we had was a Terraform catalog for every AWS resource, Helm charts, custom services, and like. However, overgeneralization for the sake of flexibility. You may be tempted to cover any project requirement, any team need, but with every Terraform stack that we implement, the catalog starts to become bloated, difficult to develop, difficult to maintain, and finally, a pain to use. There is a solution for that. Oh, not this one. An interface between the user and the platform, between the developer and the Terraform catalog. So essentially, this is the contract that promises a consistent service and access to a curated list of resources. So what do we have until now? We have a curated Terraform module catalog and an interface that is easy to use and does not require extensive Terraform expertise. However, for a project with large resource needs, manual Terraform applies in each stack is simply not acceptable. Scripting, well, that's not ideal either, as the end result is oftentimes a big collection of scripts adapted for multiple use cases, and they also need orchestration. Been there, done that. Such a scripted release took us 2 days for coordination, release creation, and deployment to any staging account, although we glue them together with TerraGrant. For this, versioning. Catalog versioning for testing and creating stable releases, plus automation for the entire release process. Crucial aspect here, which is often missed, you are building a product. When we provided solutions for all these problems, we often had to get back and see the big picture. We are building a product that users want to use, not that are forced to use. Unless it's Jenkins. Of course, they are forced to use Jenkins. I promise this is the last Jenkins joke. This is the product so far. Okay, fine. So this is what we have so far. The partner will declare the infrastructure requirements, and these infrastructure requirements are declared in a YAML format, and then validating against a queue schema with some help of glue in Go. Then the resulting stacks will be deployed and will provision the resources needed in every partner AWS account, automation infrastructure included Argo workflows, Argo CD, GitHub Actions runners that are then used afterwards for release deployments. For the computing, we used the traditional stack, so EKS and Helm charts, monitoring, Grafana. Looks good to me. I hope you got that. Let's also have a look at the configuration. So on the left side, you can see a typical partner account configuration where we have the account-based data, we have the compliance, and then the most interesting part, the actual resources, EKS, networking, databases, and so on. And the configs are validated against the queue schema that you can see on the right, and this at PR time. But how do you maintain all of this? For this, we set a core maintainers and contributors relationship, where the contributors are amongst the engineering teams. This essentially drives an inner source development, a community, essentially. And the community is consulted for any major decision. And also, when the community decides, a platform release is created. So let's see now what is this all platform release.
Thank you, Andrei. So we have the platform, we have the code, we have the team, we have everything, but how do we ship it? How do you do a release, a deployment, and so on? So before, all the deployment and things like that was manually. So we had three big problems, I can say. The first one is the multi-repository sync, because we use multiple repository in Terraform. And yeah, it's not that great to do manual works in GitHub and things like that. Yeah, it's not really work. We have different versions for different repositories, so of course we have broken deployments. The second one was the change log overhead, because every repository needs to have a change log because we need to know what feature we implemented. So yeah, also this was done manually. We need to check line by line, so yeah, it was not great. So of course we forgot features that we implemented and forgot to add in the release notes. So, and the last one was the partner dependency. Everything works by us, so we need, if a partner needs to deploy something or add the configuration changes, needs to contact us via Teams or something like that, and we need to approve it. So yeah, it was not that great. Our goal was pretty simple, but hard to implement it. We want to have predictable automated releases. So from PR merge to deployment in production as soon as possible. So we came with this idea to automate everything and be the cool guys in our company. So we came with a solution with three phases, phase 1, 2, and 3. The phase 1 and 2, it's on our platform mode. That means it's on our accounts, deployments, and so on. For the phase 1, we have the release candidate creation. That means we run some pipelines in GitHub with GitHub Actions. We validate that in lower environments, for example, in the event test. And for the phase 2, we validate on the production to be sure that everything works in our site. And if everything works, we can ship it to the partners. For the phase 3, it's a self-service or self-service model deployment. That means the partners can deploy it when they want and don't need us. We just provide the tool, the pipelines, everything that they need, and they can deploy it whenever they want. So let's have a look at each phase. So the diagram is not that simple. We try to do as simple as we can. So the idea is that we have a developer in our team that trigger a GitHub Actions pipeline, or release orchestration, in our case, that run multiple pipelines in different repositories. In this case, we have 4 packages or 4 repositories, but depending of what we have. The important thing is here that it's run in parallel, so that means package 2 is not waiting for the package 1, so it's independently can run in parallel mode. We verify that. We have a symbol with all done in the left side. Yeah, we verify that. If everything is okay, we can create a new release candidate with the release notes and present it in our team. If not, we can retry again. So it's that easy. So after that, if the release candidate is creation, we have the release notes, we have our release candidate, we send a notification for the phase 2 that it's also in our side. What are the benefits? The main thing is that from the PR merge to release candidates, we can done in minutes, in 5-10 minutes. So yeah, this is really great. We have parallel executions, and also the most important thing for us was the auto-generated notes, because nobody likes to write documentation. Okay, for the phase 2, also it's pretty easy. We need to validate that. So we have the release, but we need to validate to be sure that everything works. So we validate on dev and test on our platform, on our accounts. And if something breaks or is not working, we can fix it, create a new release candidate, and deploy it again. And we can do that 100 times, doesn't matter. If everything works smooth and it's okay, we can automatically promote it. That means we have a GitHub Actions pipeline to do different checks and steps. For example, detect the latest release candidate, do some release changes, and sync the prod configuration. And also, if everything works and we don't have any problems with that, we send another notification to our team to say that, okay, it's okay, we can deploy in production. In production, we use the same pipeline to deploy in dev and test, so it's the same pipeline, don't have configuration scripts or things like that. It's just one pipeline on our workflow. If also in the production everything works, now it's deployed in our production. That means it's stable. So our release is stable, it's tested, validated on every platform and account that we have. So that means the partners can deploy it. And they are ready for the phase 3. What are the benefits for this phase? The most important thing is that we have just one human intervention. That is trigger our workflow. So we just trigger it, go grab a coffee and eat something and wait 1 hour for that. And everything else, it's automated and safe to retry. You can retry it and how many times you need. You fix it, retry it, and so on. Okay, for the phase 3, here it's on the partner environment. That means we do our job, we provide everything, the tools and everything that they need, and from that phase they deploy it on their accounts. Also the workflow is pretty simple. We have the partner developer or operational team that trigger the Argo workflow pipeline. That is the same pipeline that we use. And yeah, we check the release, get the release, and we have a loop. This is the important part when we run Terraform plan, apply on every stack and module that we have. We have around 100 modules and stacks, so yeah, it takes some time. The idea here is we run the Terraform plan, we validate with Argo. That is an important thing because we can have automated approve. For example, we have a tag change, we can automatically approve it. If it's something impactful, for example, database deletion, we're waiting for a review operator. So if everything also works here, we apply with Terraform and do this loop 100 times. And after that, the idea is that it's no platform or it's not platform bottleneck. The partners don't need us; they do by themselves the deployment and with just some clicks. The benefits here, I think they are pretty clear. So the partners deploy at their own pace. We don't interfere with their accounts. It's pretty simple for them. Just click 3 buttons in our workflow. And we have the self-services partners, the release and configurations pipelines are the same. And also the important thing is that we have smart approval via Rago. That means we can speed up the process. Because we are an engineer and we like numbers, we put here some numbers. So time to release, before it was around 2-3 days, manual works, because you need to change the changelog, add the changelog, add different things deployed manually. So we reduced that to about 3 hours. So from PR merge to release in production in our account, it takes about 3 hours. For the partners, it takes about 1.5 hours. Also, the release, we did twice per month in the past, but now it's on demand because you can deploy it whenever they want, so we can do it every day if they want. Also, because we use Git and GitHub, we have full audit. We can search who push this commit that break our pipelines. And for now, we have 50 plus AWS accounts, partner AWS accounts that use our platform. The partner have the full autonomy. And also we solve the problem with multi-repository consistency and automatic error handling. So that's our release strategy. We had 3 main problems. We tried to solve it, and yeah, I think that's all for that. Andrei is going to take it from here to present what lesson we learned when we try to implement that.
Okay, so at the beginning, I promised you that we will also leave you with some lessons. So was this process of finding a solution smooth? Actually, not really, but in the end, we got to learn. When we transitioned from a script release to Argo, we thought that all our problems are solved. But soon we ended up with too many dedicated workflows. So the solution for that, in our case, was a workflows library that we can use and we can reuse for any workflow, for any deployment workflow that we need. For this, we had, the benefit of this was, of course, consistency. Then, as we also saw earlier, all the configs are stored in a single repo. So for 50 plus accounts, this gets really difficult to maintain. So in order to allow each application visibility, what configuration is deployed at a certain time, we used a tool called Monorail. So this essentially allows us to do tagging on a path based on our repositories. Then releases. So this also posed a problem for us, especially because fixed cadence was not the solution, because Scrum sprints are not equal in outcomes. So releases on demand, I think, worked better for us in the end. And finally, the patching process. So we promised to support the latest 2 stable releases. So for example, when a CVE appears and that needs patches, the process gets a little bit complicated, and it also needs good testing and coordination. And the solution for that was a clear definition of the strategy, of the steps, and a list of dedicated GitHub workflows for fast release creation. We are still learning, but as mentioned at the beginning of this presentation, following the platform engineering principles and acquiring a product mindset was what drove results and increased the development experience. And I think this is what we want to leave you with. Thank you.